When we did this, probably the best-selling peeler on the market still was the metal handle peeler, the old-fashioned metal handle peeler your grandmother had in her drawer, you know, and no one had changed that except to put a plastic handle on it.
Wow. Sam Farber has been an innovator in the area of kitchen products for decades. He retired in 1988, but like so many innovators, he still wanted to create new products. His newest idea came to him while he and his wife Betsy were on vacation in France.
For some reason, when you have a house in France, a lot of people just drop by somehow. So there was a great deal of entertaining going on. And it was Betsy, who had some arthritis in her hand, who started to complain about kitchen tools.
Sam's idea was to create an entirely new peeler, one that would be comfortable for every user. He called his friend David Stovall, president of Smart Design, and explained the idea.
He called me from France. He called me just as I was leaving the office, and he was so excited. He couldn't sleep.
It amazes me that no one thought of it before. I mean, they were using these peelers and other kitchen tools, and they were uncomfortable. And no one said, why can't it be comfortable?
He wanted us to start on the project as soon as we could so that when he came back in a month and a half, we'd have some things to show him.
With the help of Smart Design, Sam Farber started a new company, Oxo Good Grips. Their first test for the new company was at the Gourmet Trade Show in 1990.
It was a miracle that the product actually arrived at the Gourmet Show 2 days before the show opened. We'd built a booth to display it that looked like we'd been in business for 10 years, and we just stood back and watched.
There were people who said, it's a big fat handle peeler. I mean, why should I buy that, you know? But within I'd say a year to 18 months, it started to get across that this was something different from all the rest of the products on the market.
The peeler became Oxo's signature product, but it also represented the foundation of a new design philosophy.
We were one of the early proponents, I don't even think we knew that we were at the time, of what's called universal design, which is to make easy-to-use products for as wide a spectrum of the populace as possible.
And when we say broadest spectrum of users, we're talking about people who may have large hands, small hands, old hands, not as strong as a younger person's hands.
These gloves are basically gloves that our employee found on the street of New York and in some cases all over the world. And what these gloves represent is actually all the hand sizes the Oxo products have to fit. We're designing for a wide spectrum of users. And we still have, the wall is filled now, and we still have a big box of gloves in the closet that are a continuation of that wall.
Oxo is an agile company. They stay that way by creating collaborative relationships with manufacturers and designers.
We only have around 35 employees managing an almost $100 million business. We use a lot of outside resources.
Our core team here is about marketing and project management. And then we work with outside design firms. We work with 7 right now. So you'll see people here late at night on video conference calls between California, New York, and China.
All of them invested time to design the product in exchange of a royalty payment. So they actually are kind of quite invested.
They have an ownership stake in the end result versus designing a pretty box. The end result is that box has to sell.
The design strategy at Oxo Good Grips is not simply about making a good-looking product. It's mainly about making something that works better.
We are very good in the design world at solving physical and cognitive problems. But there's another aspect of it. Design is an experience. Using a design product is an experience. And it's an emotional reaction as well as a physical reaction. And that emotional reaction should produce a feeling of joy and accomplishment.
And it's always these little things that people go, I wish I would have thought of that.
A great example would be, recently we introduced a angle measuring cup.
As opposed to having to look at the side of a measuring cup while you're pouring and then adjust and spill some out, this one allows you to just look straight down into the cup and see the measurement markings while you're measuring. This product came into us as a prototype that looked kind of like this. And this is the kind of thing that comes to my desk all the time. Just somebody's embodiment of an idea. And in this case, It was this top view measuring cup, and we looked at this and we said, absolutely, wow, why didn't anyone think of that before? This is an Oxo product, let's do it.
It's going into production. It's a little tight still. What do you think?
It's pretty cool. Can they pull it out without hurting themselves?
I don't know. You try.
I don't know if it needs to be this long.
To design the perfect Oxo product, team members obsess over every little detail. Ideas and input are encouraged throughout the entire design process.
But the new one will have tape on it, right? I mean, the one that's
So you
the one
know
that's
which blades
new has
to use.
tape on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we have the same tape on the new product, on the peeler? So you have this on the peeler, right?
Yeah, so you have this, when you first get it, you have this on it.
Right, but the stuff that comes out of this cartridge has the tape on
No,
it.
it doesn't.
So how do you know which one's old, which one's new when you put it in there? There's a culture behind every good brand that we can name. And, you know, this one is one of a lot of people paying a lot of attention to details and nitpicking about, you know, problems.
Well, you're not going to put back the old one in there.
Well, that's
To
the
take it
idea.
out,
That
to
you have
take
a-
it out,
You
but
just
then
take
you
it
throw
out.
it out.
No, but you
No,
have an
no, no,
empty
you keep
slot
it- you
here,
keep it
you
in there.
stick it in here, you take it out, you don't know which
How do
one's
you know
old,
which
which
one's
one's
new?
new.
The thing is, that where's the
There's
blue
going to be
tape?
a
Oxo is definitely a nitpicking type of organization. We have a lot of very vocal people here.
You have to have a way
Yeah.
on the user to
Seems like that's
differentiate what's a new
It can
blade,
work.
what's
We
an old
can
one.
keep the blue tape on it.
Yeah. And the blue tape's
And
elastic
my
enough.
follow-up question is that we have a blue tape on the new blade, and the new blade that comes with the peeler should have the same
Blue tape,
level.
and no extruded piece.
Right. I mean, otherwise it's two different things. It's actually quite unsettling sometimes because, you know, we have these meetings that are brutally honest. We're looking at the projects and are really attacking the projects.
Why?
I mean, which is just
Once
make...
you get it home, you get it home.
I understand, but I mean, we should just make all the new blade have the same language.
Blue tape, yeah.
Saying everything's stock in two different types of blades.
No, it's the same blade. I'm confused.
No,
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 talking a
having
blade
the
with
blue
this and
cover
then
over it.
This versus this.
Yes, correct.
Every decision that is made here sort of has to go through this rigorous process and pass through lots and lots of very opinionated people.
But what if this was more of a gray or translucent?
Well, I mean, you want them to see the metal showing through that, right?
So
I
now
think the
this
question
being-
is though, is that if our blade being sharper, wouldn't you want to protect at retail with something a little more sturdy than just a piece of tape?
Well, actually, this is easier to come off in retail than this. You have to intentionally
No
peel this
way.
off.
It's the
would-
same.
We need to be able to remove kind of the personal ego out of that. And which is why we have lunch in the office together almost every day, and that's kind of a good kind of healing period. Everybody in this organization are very unwilling to let product out that is not quite right yet. You know, and we're small enough that we can take it all the way to the end and, you know, and have 3 people in the room and say, we cannot ship this thing.
To see a product go all the way to manufacturing and then we decide that it doesn't have any innovative features is heartbreaking because you just put so much work into it. But I think it's the best thing for the company that we're not going to just put an item out there on the market just because we made it.
It is important enough that everybody's a protector of the brand and everybody cares enough about the brand to not let things out.
This culture of nitpickers is offset by a management philosophy that gives teams an enormous amount of freedom.
We delegate an incredible amount of responsibility to the players on the teams, and the teams really own those businesses.
We're pretty much left to our own devices, which gives you a lot of freedom, but it also it means you have to be self-managing and keep an eye on your own performance.
Yeah.
It's
It's finer too.
It's much easier to squeeze. So.
Just, this is, I'm reminding my right hand is,
4.4.
I think that's what keeps the creativity going here, and I think also what keeps the dedication.
4?
Yep. Is that 9? 2.9. Yeah.
Oxo is always aware of its competition. Companies will quickly make knockoffs of their products, but the people at Oxo view competition as an opportunity.
You can't just copy the product. What they wish they could copy is the philosophy that's inside this company and the passion and the drive that it has, and that's not something that can be copied.
If you really want to stay ahead of the competition when they copy you, there's only one way to do it. Quickly new innovative product as fast as you can so that the public says, why should I buy something else? Why should I buy from another company when this company gives me everything I need?
Oxo revitalized an industry that had remained unchanged for decades.